It's that time of the week, time to answer audience questions. 3 questions this week from Caitlin, Lydia, and Molly. Send them in however you want. Just get the questions to us, and then we will answer them. Let's start with Caitlin. Caitlin says, are you for or against ebooks and digital readers? I have nothing against them, but I admit I don't have one, and I still am buying paper books. And I've spoken to a bunch of people about this. And my hesitation to just switch over to ebooks, there's a couple of hesitations. Number one, although there's every indication that the Kindle is here to stay, the Amazon Kindle, for a while, when you would hear about a new ebook technology, people would start switching over to it and buying books in that format. And then something else would come out. And then all of a sudden you say, okay, well, now I have to get a different ebook and now get a different format. Now these things are backwards compatible enough where you can basically just have one. And hopefully in the future, if there's yet another big change, everything you buy, all of the Kindle books you buy would still be good on it. But the main reason is I still like holding the physical book. It's hard for me imagining when I read at night before going to bed, sitting there with an ebook. And I know some people swear by it. They say the screen tone and the light and the backlight and all of it, it's not like being on a screen at night, and it doesn't wake you up, and it's the right color temperature and all these things. It still seems sort of weird to me to be sitting there clicking through pages as opposed to paging through a book. Maybe this is one of those things where I'm starting to show age, where to people that are much younger, this would not even be a consideration. They'd say, well, yeah, why wouldn't you just sit there with an ebook? You can download the books on there. You can carry an unlimited number of books instead of having physical books. They don't take up space in your house, etc. I still am on physical books.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you're just months away at this point from get off my lawn.
Right.
I am a huge fan of these. Now, let me tell everyone.
You don't read.
I consume my fiction in other ways.
There's nothing better than ebooks for people who do not read. And that's what
No.
Lewis is being very clear about.
Yeah. Great. So why I like these is that let's be honest here.
Yeah.
We have to look at the carbon footprint.
Oh,
right?
okay.
And so, yes, books can be printed on recycled paper and all of that. But I think when you get down to it, my money would be on the ebooks having a much, much lower carbon footprint. And isn't that a good thing?
Of course. That's
Okay.
always a good thing.
And not to mention the number of books you can put on one of these things.
Yeah.
It's just so much more practical.
There's no doubt. And this actually leads into our next question about minimalism and decluttering. The idea of a lot of people have books that take up a lot of space in their house. In fact, they're probably the item that I have the most of in my house, unless you want to get down to counting, grains of sugar. I have more than books. But other than that, I probably have more books in terms of the number of items in my house than anything else. You have to figure out, well, what bookcases do I get and where do I store the books and how do I organize them? Do I organize them by genre, or do I organize them alphabetically, or do I just toss them in and then never am able to find them again? I totally get it. And I told a longtime fan of the show and friend Greg Stevens about this when I met him for brunch in New York City a few months or a year ago. And he said, you really should talk to more people about this because your view is a little bit retrograde. I think he was a little nicer in terms of the vocabulary, but he was basically saying, like, you're kidding, right? The reason is you just like books. I don't know. I just don't know. I just feel driven to hold the book.
Well,
and
there's something to be said for rare editions and collectible books and things like that.
I don't have any of those.
But right. And so, Dave, I think it's time to put them all in the digital format.
Here's the other problem I have. I would have a hard time if I buy a Kindle conceding that I now have hundreds of books, and then from now on, I'm getting Kindle editions. And for me, in my mind, in my headspace, I want to say, okay, all of my books are on paper, or all of my books are in my Kindle. This idea of splitting it and saying, I have the Kindle, but I still have the books. And, oh, this book I want to go and grab, is that in my Kindle or is that a paper book? It's all or nothing for me,
Hey, you own CDs, right? But all of that music is also digital
I own
somewhere.
no CDs anymore. I have thrown out every single music CD I ever owned. I have no use for it whatsoever. I've decluttered.
Okay. All right. Decluttering.